So I suppose with that, we can get our workshop started. So some of you have locked in your portions of the monster that you'd like to roll. Rip Artist, hello. So a howdy to Sierra Echo and a howdy to Rip Artist. Thank you. You have joined just in time for us to begin our monster from scratch, right? We're going to build a monster from the ground up. And we will love it, and we will hug it, and we will call it George. Maybe not George, but I do want to come up with the concept and even the name of the monster. And one reason for this is when we finish, we're actually going to build 2 monsters tonight. When we finish, I want to know which monster seems most compelling to you all. And then I am going to commission Macabre Derek to not only make a coloring book page of that monster, but a full color rendition of the monster. And that is going to end up being another event for you all to help write a backstory for it or things along those lines. Uh-oh, Quingar is drawing from the deck of many things. Ruin. All forms of wealth that you carry or own other than magic items are lost to you. Portable property vanishes. Businesses, buildings, and land you own are lost in a way that alters reality the least. Any documentation that proves you should own something lost to this card also disappears. I'll tell you what I'll do, Quingar. The next adventure you go on, you have to roll a disadvantage. But if you win, I will give you double experience points because you beat that adventure effectively, with no items or worldly possessions. Orchid goes on a random plains adventure, nearing Russell. A rabbit? Jumping from the grass is a rock. Only a 10 or greater can defeat it. You attack with advantage, adding a +1 modifier. It's worth 100 experience if defeated. There you go, Orchid. You soundly defeated that rock. All right, there you go, Orchid Twilight. All right, let's begin the process here. Now, for those of you going on adventures, Raven might be here, or she might be, I don't know, she might be playing a game or something. So while I'm presenting the workshop, it's going to be difficult for me to award points and to... because I mistyped. All right, let me do that real quick before I start the workshop. Apparently, you almost turned into Arachnid Twilight, Orchid. You are a spider. You are Orchid Drider. Apparently I'm not doing this correctly. Oh, because I forgot to put the number. Third time's the charm. And there you go, Arachnid Twilight. Yes, you have a wicked web now. So Orchid, we're talking about the mascots, right? There you go. Orchid. This is Arachnid Twilight right here.
sound a feasting horn.
Anne, welcome to the Hero Zone. Thank you for stopping by. Anne, you are here just in time. If you are here, okay, no problem, Afterfaw. Thank you for letting me know. To help us build a monster. Actually, we're going to be building 2 tonight. Oh, hey, you know what? So that is also going to be an alert box that one of the mascots will show up as. But thank you to Tabletop Gaming with Wolf Phototech for the YouTube subscription. All right, well, I guess to get us going here, Quingar, you had redeemed some inspiration points. You said, I don't know what specifically needs rolled yet, but I would like to roll. Why don't you get us going and tell us which kind of a monster are we going to make? So, Quingar, will you please type exclamation point 1D14. Number 1, letter D as in doggo, number 14. 1-4. No spaces. All right, we ended up with an 8. Let's find out which one this is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We are making a Fiend. DQ, Demon Quiller, or Twingar. You wanted to roll for the challenge rating. Our expected challenge rating is going to be a 2d12. Nope, not a 1d20. I need you to type exclamation point 2d12, please. A 6 and an 8. All right, so that is going to be 14. So now, obviously, we don't have a 1 on a 2d12. So then this is 2, 3, 4. And then, so we're making a CR 14. We're making a CR 14 creature. And the size Merowyn wanted to roll. Merowyn, can I have you roll 1d6, por favor, in chat? Stops on a 3. Tiny, small, medium. All right, now, for our core challenge rating calculations, we are going to roll a d10. If it is a 1 through 5, and I'll show you the chart we're using for this. We're going to find the line that is a CR 14, which is going to be this line right here. On a 1 through 5, we're going to go back this way. On a 6 through 10, we're going to go this way. Apparently Anne wanted in on the roll. And hello, Manchita. Good to see you. Howdy. So I guess we'll start with our damage per round. Anne has an 8. So that is a 6, 7, 8. We're going 3 lines ahead. 1, 2, 3. So our damage per round is 105 to 110. Orchid Twilight, you said that you would like to roll. I would like you to roll 1d10 for our attack bonus, and or if we want to make it a creature that uses saving throws more than attacks. Lands on a 2, so we're going to go back 2. 1, 2. So this is going to be 8/17. All right, now, for our hit points, Man-Cheetah, will you please type exclamation point 1d10 in chat? Six. We're going ahead one. So it is going to have between 281 and 295 hit points. And lastly, our AC, Sierra Echo. Will you please type exclamation point 1d10 to let us know what our armor class is going to be? 7. So that is ahead 2. So our AC is still going to be 18. Okay. Now, let's figure out if our Fiend has any immunities in particular. Now, you might find in the Monster Manual that many Fiends have very common style immunities or resistances. It doesn't always have to be the case, and we're making a custom monster. As well, let's keep this in mind. Fiends are creatures of wickedness that are native to the lower planes. A few are the servants of deities, but many more labor under the leadership of archdevils and demon princes. Evil priests and mages sometimes summon fiends to the material world to do their bidding. If an evil celestial is a rarity, a good fiend is almost inconceivable. Fiends include demons, devils, hellhounds, rakshasas, and yugoloths. Now let's discover, do we have any immunities? Who is hanging out in chat that hasn't rolled yet? We have Rip Artist. Are you hanging out with us still? Celtic Lady, are you also with us? And either Dragon or Hero Dragon, are you with us? All right, Celtic Lady, I'd like you to roll a percentile die for me. Exclamation point 1d100. Lands on a 44. We have 0 immunities. Now, what about resistances? Rip Artist, I would like you to also give me a percentile roll. Exclamation point 1d100 in chat. $49. Oh, we're just shy. We're just shy, but we have no immunities and no resistances. Now, do we have any vulnerabilities? Is there someone out there in chat who has not yet rolled? Do you wish to come out of lurking and dare to contribute in the workshop? Then your soul will be mine. Hi, you will. All right, you will. May I have a percentile roll from you, please? Ah, and Tio is here as well. Excellent. Rolls to go around. You will gives us a 31. So we do not have any vulnerabilities either. All right, so any of the types, this is not necessary. Tio, I need you to tell me, does this fiend fly? And I need you to tell me with a 1d8, please. 1d8. All right, Orchid, with that card, the next adventure you go on, you can roll with advantage. Stops on a 4. We do not have a flyer. Now, it might be able to swim, it might be able to climb, but flying in particular is a note for calculating challenge rating. And do we have any save proficiencies? Dragon MDK. Will you please type exclamation point 1D100? Stops on a 40. No particular save proficiencies. Okay. Now, we're going to come down to miscellaneous, and some of these might be optional, or you might just want to throw it out there. Its favorite environment. Now, you might just go, absolutely, it's planar. Maybe. Or you could say something else. But let's roll for it, because this might be where we find some unique traits. Anne, being new here in the workshop, let's roll it back to you for a second roll. I would like you to tell me this Fiend's favorite environment. And you can do that with an exclamation point 1D14. End up with a 3. Aquatic, Arctic, cave. Now, if you don't want to play with the, or if you do not want to do this with the extended biome consideration, this is something that the Kobold Fight Club can take into consideration, or you can specify. If you want to stick with the 8 biomes that have mechanics for rangers and druids, then you could instead take that as Arctic Coast, and you could say it's a desert demon, a desert devil, or something like that. But let's go with this. We have a cave fiend. Alignment. Now, if we have a fiend, these are more elementally aligned to evil, as it is a planar creature. But you know what? There might always be the chance. There could always be the chance that we have a good fiend for some reason, and that could add to the story. So why don't we do this? Let's come over. I based the roll on our balanced odds. Now, if our fiends have a penchant for evil, why don't we use this instead to help tell the story? Is there anyone else in chat that hasn't gotten to roll yet? I don't mind going back and asking people for seconds, but I want to offer firsts first. All right, let's go back through again. Orchid Twilight, will you give me a 1D100 roll? And in fact, you say all of these low rolls? A low roll here would be very interesting, actually, if we're using the penchant for evil distribution. Stops on an 18, so not quite good, but we actually have a chaotic neutral. All right. Now can I have Celtic Lady type exclamation point 1D100 in chat and let me know how many, if any, challenge rating neutral features we have. Stops on a 12, so we don't have any challenge rating neutral features. Maybe we have challenge rating enhancing features? Tio Most Frio, may I have an exclamation point 1D100 roll from you? Stops on a 49. We are also just shy of getting some CR enhancing features. Okay. We have a lot of information now that is going to help us craft our custom Fiend. Let's go back to our calculator. And we have our info. We're going to have our expected CR of 14. We are going to have, let's see, it is medium-sized. DPR, we'll put in 110. And you know what? Let's decide. Do we have something that is more of a single attacker or an AoE user that forces saves? Can I have Rip Artist? Rip Artist, roll 1d6 in chat. If it's an odd number, it's an attacker. It's a solo attacker. If it's an even number, we have an AoE user. Hi, Jurassic. Odd. So we do have an attacker. And so our attack bonus is +8. Our hit points, we have 295. And our AC is 18. We have, we are not a flyer. Not that that matters, because after challenge rating 9, this doesn't really affect challenge rating anymore. No resistances or immunities, and no vulnerabilities. And we have no abilities that will enhance challenge rating or other features. Doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop. We're going to scroll. And what I mean by that, if you're playing along at home and you have your Dungeon Master's Guide out, if you start on page 280 and 281, do you see here where there are features that will not enhance challenge rating, but would be a neat trick? In this case, etherealness, as per a night hag, will not have an effect on the challenge rating. It's simply a thing that the monster can do. False appearance, as per a gargoyle, has no effect on challenge rating. But something like damage transfer from a cloaker, double the monster's effective hit points, add 1/3 of the monster's hit points to its per round damage. That's a consideration that we need to make. Now we're going to go back to our calculator and let's double check and make sure that, because we had variance, right? We had some things that were pluses and minuses. Are we still at 14? No, we're actually at a 16. for the things that we've rolled. So this is as we've made this this creature, we are a CR 16 creature. So we used 14 as our baseline, but we allowed some different variances, and so we're actually making a CR 16 like our Deva from last night that had 15 levels of Death Cleric. That was interesting. That brought it up from a CR 10 to a CR 16 creature. Can we hand tailor an Achilles heel if they're low CR? So yeah, if you're doing this for yourself, for your game, ultimately, this is going to be your monster that is unique to your battle at your table. We are making a more general appearance. Hi, Cloaking Dust. Speaking of cloakers, kind of. So now this is what we need to... this is what we need to consider. We have a Fiend, so a being from another, from a lower plane that acts in a chaotic neutral fashion that has a preference for caves, or I guess other like natural enclosed spaces. And otherwise has a very straightforward appearance instead of abilities. Now, this may seem boring. I do want to show you something, though. If we come down here to well, here's Fiends. Here's the Yugoloths, right? Your senses, blind sight, dark vision, languages, including telepathy, none of this has an impact on challenge rating, and so these are all features that we can end up giving this creature. We can give it as many skills and skill proficiencies as we want. There's a lot of things here. Now, it won't have condition immunities or damage immunities, but it could possibly use spells as long as those spells are tiered in such a way that its damage output is between bloop, bloop, bloop. As long as its damage output averages 105 to 110 DPR. And that could even include something like an aura. You can give it an awesome aura of something. The damage typing doesn't even matter. It could be necrotic. It could be radiant. It could be variable. So we actually have a lot of fun, flavorful wiggle room that we can give to whatever this creature is. And don't forget, things like the Abyssal Chicken exist. I think that... Is that in Volo's guide? Let me double check. There's the Abyssal Wretch. You know what? The Abyssal Chicken might just have a stat block in, Yeah, that might just be in Descent into Avernus. Well, so that is a case where I believe the Abyssal Chicken is a Fiend, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if you have that module handy, Sierra. It is a Fiend, but it's also an animal. And so this does not mean that we need a humanoid looking Fiend, because there's a lot of Fiends that have just weird appearances. The Mesoloth, right? Looks like a bug, has 2 legs, 4 arms. There's the Arcanoloth, which is a fox. And there's a lot of other Yugoloths that are listed in other places as well that have a lot of different shapes and forms. So if you want, you might say, all right, so it's a fiend, but this fiend is actually, you know, it would be like a hellish bison. If we can have an abyssal chicken, this could be a hell bison. Or something along those lines, where it's quadrupedal. But it hits hard. Or it would be like a fiendish cave bear almost. And if you can imagine then a fiendish cave bear, this is something that might only exist in the hells, unless it's summoned to a realm. Yeah, those are super spicy buffalo wings, right, Sierra? and maybe that is somehow the origin. Although it doesn't have flying, that doesn't mean we can't give it wings. Maybe it just has little vestigial wings. Something along those lines. Oh no, Anne. Well, hey, if you continue to lurk, you'll earn more experience points as well. You can always try going on the adventures. The adventures in the plains and the forest are fairly easy, and you should win more times than you lose. And that's a good slow way to continue to build up EXP also. So from that, everyone, this could actually end up being, you were talking about a mimic up above. This could almost be an ambush predator. Well, yeah. So they're large. This is a medium-sized one, and this is where I'm getting into the ambush predator part. It looks smaller, right? It might have a look of something that isn't as fierce as it is. But if you step into that cave, this thing is going to tear into you. So what comes to mind then? We know that this is actually going to be a CR16 Fiend that is medium-sized. These are its stats. How do you want to explain its armor? Is it covered in scales, thick fur, or fat? Is it actually wearing some sort of armor or barding? And hello, Kobold Sprig! Joins us, you're here to see the monstrosities? Release the Huggernauts! I have some of those hanging around. Hold on a second. There you go, Miss Sprig. Thank you for coming over. Let's give you a shout out. And you would not have enough experience points to go on an adventure yet. You'll have to lurk a little bit and earn some more, as there is a cost to go on the adventures. Yeah, it could be something like a belay. That is true, Mancheetah. You're very welcome for the shoutouts. For everyone, Sprig is a wonderful varietal streamer. She just overhauled her avatar. It's looking really awesome by itself, let alone the fact that for Halloween, she is dressed up like a witch. You should absolutely stop by her channel, give her a look. It's always a fun time. Oh yeah, so all right. So this could be a fiendish wild animal that exists in the lower planes somewhere somehow. And so, all right, so it seems like the idea, let's write down these ideas. This is going to be, whoops. Animalistic. Like a bison. Hence the high AC. Ambush predator. That would probably mean that we want to give it some various skills that would back that up, such as stealth. Because remember, a monster can be proficient in every skill, and that will not affect its challenge rating. So we have a lot of wiggle room where we can present something that actually looks maybe more normalish or plain, but it actually is going to pack a heck of a punch. Sierra Echo, you're looking mighty sensuous. Sensuous up, can you get me a soda? So ambush predator. Other fiends hunt it for its parts. Any other notes while we're considering this? Right, it's pretty neutral to damage, and again, it seems very on the surface. I mean, we could make it look as twisted as we want, but it doesn't fly. Vestigial wings. But this is a tank. This is an absolute tank here. And we can give it various senses as well. We can give it Devil's Sight, even. We can give it True Sight. Maybe that's something else. This animal, because look, if you are a pack animal or a herd animal or just honestly a source of food animal, you're probably going to survive by having enhanced senses. Things like dark vision or true sight, or even, hey, we are being raided by that fat guy. Hello. That's more of a roleplay prompt, Anne. And also sometimes we need to roll a 1d3 for things like, if we're making a randomized warlock, which patron we're getting. Let's give a quick shout out. Yeah, welcome. Draken, now do you want that pronounced Arcades? Or is it Arcades? Yeah, welcome. Hello, hello. Arcades is in arcade machines. If I ever mess that up, please let me know in chat. I won't take it personally, and I'll try to better remember. Are there any other concepts for this fiendish animal that are coming to mind? What would a monster like this? We've only made one monster, Anne. We've only made one of our two. Are there any other qualities that might come to mind? What would a creature need to exist in the lower planes like this? Right? Exceptional senses to try and avoid being taken down by the other fiends that exist in this lower plane. Because also something like speed is not a factor. Even teleportation Teleportation is not taken into challenge rating consideration. And that's something to think about. How does this thing get around? Does it have spider climb? Now, we know it can't fly. Can it swim? Does it have spider climb? It can actually run up vertical surfaces or even cling on to ceilings. It does live in a cave. Blink, I believe, would actually affect its challenge rating because it would effectively have a higher AC, and we rolled that this thing does not have anything like that. It might be able to burrow. It might be able to have a burrow speed, yeah. Burrowing would not affect challenge rating. If this is the case, we might imagine a creature like a bison, which of course are large in our world, in our reality. But remember, this can be anything. We can use the concept of a bison and shrink it down if we want. But if it's burrowing and maybe even has spider climb, how is this thing digging and clinging onto the ceiling or the walls? Is this actually a quadruped? This could even be something like a Geodude. It's a central mass. Oh, all right. Anne is going to lurk. Well, thank you for hanging out with us, Anne. It might just have a central mass and two massive arms. And that's how it digs, or that's how it holds on to stuff. Because look, we're not just talking about beasts. Beasts have to make a certain amount of sense, even in a fantasy setting. A fiend has an alien physiology. Only in this case, if we're cracking open the geodes, we don't just get crystals, we actually get meat and bones. Oh, okay, you're trying out commands. I got you, Ann. In fact, that might be very interesting. If we're looking for name inspiration, imagine this, and this is why it's good to keep the paint tool open. We have a cave. Right? We have our stalactites and our stalagmites, and things are like going back and back further into the cave, right? if we have an animal that can hold on, almost like a Geodude, right? It can hold on to the rocks. What does this look like? Yep, we do in fact have a work command if you want to talk to a chocobo. Does this remind anyone of a uvula in the back of a throat? Does this remind anyone of a uvula in the back of a throat? Now, let's keep going with this idea. We have these little cave clingers, right? They're tough, and they put a lot of damage out there, right? If not the uvula, the little punching bag looking thing in cartoons in our throats, in the back of our mouths, we also have these things back here. And do you know what these are? And also, howdy, Miller. Well, hopefully, if you're eating something that's using your uvula or your tonsils as speed bags, then you got to chew your food better, my friend. Tonsils. All right. Now, tonsils, absolutely correct. Have any of you, I imagine all of you, you don't have to confess, but it happens to everyone. Have any of you ever gotten those little things that you're just speaking and randomly, like chaotic neutrally, you're talking and then like a thing flies out of your mouth that smells like both cat pee and death combined? Those are called tonsilliths, or like tonsil stones. You know what I'm talking about? The little very stinky nuggets. What if we had that idea and this is actually, bear with me, you've never had tonsilliths. So, I mean, they're not, like, huge, and they're not necessarily rocks. But sometimes if you're speaking or chewing, you're like, something, like, dislodged. Like, something dislodged, and you're like, oh, what the heck is this? And it's like a stinky thing. Because it was a buildup of something in the back, like in a pocket of your gums. Those are called tonsilloths. Or tonsilliths. Lith for rock. What if this is a Yugoloth fiend called a Tonsiloth? And in addition, as a defensive mechanism, or at least a warning mechanism that you're entering into a dangerous place, And for some people, it's frequent. They actually will go in with a mirror or like something and just go gluck and extract them themselves. It doesn't hurt. It's just a little buildup of something that every once in a while kind of pops out of your mouth. DQ is suggesting acid blood, apparently. And you know what? Acid blood is something that we can take into consideration, DQ, as long as it works to be a part of its DPR. It might actually have an aura, like a stinky aura, that would do acid damage. And so something like that is absolutely possible. And now I want you all to take a look. We came up here and we're like, you know, there's nothing like super cool, like CR enhancing features or even just neutral features like 2 heads. You know, it doesn't have any resistances or immunities or vulnerabilities. Oh, it doesn't even fly? And it has no save proficiencies? What kind of a boring creature is this? Look at what we just made together. Look at what we just made. We made effectively, and this can change. If you don't like this concept, this is just what I'm thinking of when we go through the process. We've made a Tonsiloth. It is a Yugoloth Fiend that lurks in caves. Apparently it deals acid damage. It has a stinky aura. It can spider climb and has tremor sense and is an ambush predator. And so while it may be vanilla in stats, it occupies a very unique niche, and this would be an amazing encounter to run. It might appear like stone. Natural camouflage will not affect challenge rating, so these can even look like stone until it's time to go. Well, hey, we are being raided by Anne. Well, heckin' howdy, Anne. It's a pleasure to meet you again for the first time. I'll give you a shout out since you're raided in as well. So, and Anne, what were you talking about in your channel? Yes, welcome, Raider. All right, I'm going to get up and take a quick break, and when we come back, I want to make one more monster with you all in our workshop. If you all would like to spend some inspiration points and start locking in the next set of considerations, then here we are. This is the next set, and let's find out what other type of monster we can come up with really quick in our workshop. I'll be back shortly, everyone.